Welcome to a tour of a 2024 Airstream Bambi 16 RB. So this is the smallest Airstream that they currently make. It is 16 feet long, but it is a complete enclosed camper. You've got a full shower, a bathroom, sleeping quarters, you have a microwave, sink, whole 9 yards inside this thing, heat, air conditioning. It's a 4 seasons trailer in a very tiny package. Today we're just gonna be checking out the outside. We'll hop on the inside and I'll show you the whole 9 yards on that. But starting off up front, we've got two big old propane tanks and our battery tray. And then underneath, we've got a full-size spare tire, which is really nice. And then it also has a LP gas hookup port. Say if you're doing long-term camping at a campground or at your house, then you can tie right into a big propane tank for your heat or for your stove, anything like that. So that's super nice to have. And then it wouldn't be a new Airstream without an electric jack. These are way better than sitting there hand cranking it. And something that's really cool about these two is they actually have a built-in leveler right on the nose. So you'll know when you pull into your campground and park if it's level or not, which makes life a whole lot easier. We come around to this side and this thing's got, a couple more things. So here you have your freshwater fill tank. So you fill that to fill your freshwater tank if you're boondocking. And then here is your city inlet. So if you're hooked up to a solid hose, you have constant water. You hook up right here. And then here's your black tank flush valve. And these things are so stinking handy to make sure you keep your poop tank clean. After you dump, stick a different hose than your drinking hose. Stick a different hose on here. And I mean, these do have a bypass check valve, so it can't backfeed. But sanitary wise, I always love using a separate hose. But stick a different hose on here and it will spray all sides of your black tank and all that water rinse out. So usually what I do is I hook it up, I'll have the valve closed, let it fill up a little bit, dump it. And I just do that a couple times, real quick. Cleans all the sensors, everything. It makes it really, really nice and easy. And underneath that, something that's cool about these Airstreams is most of them have an outdoor shower. And most people are like, well, I would never use that. But the real nice part about it is if you need to, say, water something, or if you need a spigot outside, you can hook right into this, and then you have, another hose you can use, or a sprayer, or anything like that. Or say you're camping in something beautiful and you got a great scenic view this way. What's better than showering while you're looking at paradise? I mean, come on now, right? It's got a Gerard instant hot water heater. And these are cool because you really cannot run out of water. So it's a tankless water heater. It'll just keep heating. The longer you keep taking your shower, it'll keep heating it, and it stays hot for a really long time. Over your 6-gallon tank where you get 6 minutes, or 10-gallon tank where you get 10 minutes. This is essentially forever, until she keeps going. And then here's just the heater outlet. So whenever you're running the furnace, all your heat comes out of there. This is where you plug in your 30 amp connector. And these all do come with one, which is really nice. So plug in your 30 amp here. It's a smart plug, so they're a little different, but super nice. And then down here is if you're hooking up to cable TV, then you can plug right in there and it's wired straight into the TV inside, which is pretty cool. And then back here, there's not a ton, but we do have a storage area. And the nice thing about these is, one, they open pretty easy. But this actually, here's your smart plug. This actually connects up underneath the bed. So there's 2 cabinet doors under the bed. And when you open those, it's a complete pass-through here. So say you got stuff underneath the bed stacked way in the back, you can get to it real easy right here. Or if you got stuff in the front, you can get to it inside, So that makes life a whole heck of a lot easier. Go ahead and lock that back up. Then as we come back to this side, as you can see, it's got a really nice awning on it. So you can hang out, have your chairs out here, be in the shade. But yeah, down here, we have outdoor outlets. So at the same time, if you're out here camping, hanging out in the shade, then you can plug in whatever you want. You can plug a TV in out here, anything. You can plug in an electric grill and cook out and be the #1 person in the campground. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop on inside and we'll take a look in there. All right, before we step inside, we do have a fold-out step, which is pretty nice. But when you come on in, these do have a screen door bug catcher. So you can close this. That way you can get, you know, on a nice day, you can get your fresh air in there while keeping all the bugs out. But that just comes over here and then latches on there, and they're tied in as one. We'll come over here and lock our door in place. We'll step up on it. So right when you come in, to the right here is your light switch for these main lights right here. So you flip this on and you're like, oh, lights didn't come on. But these are cool because they have like a one-touch dimmer. So you just touch it and your lights are off. That easy. And then you touch it again, the lights are off. But right away up front, we have a dinette, which is nice because it really does seat 4 people in here. So you got a nice big table, and this does fold down into a bed too. I'll show you how that works. It's really easy, and it locks into these little cubbies right here. And then when it sets down, it sets back down on the ground. It just kind of, you basically pull it out and it kind of swings up and swings down. Next to me, we have our stovetop, which is Suburban stovetop. And I like these a lot because a lot of times, like, if you're not cooking, this is kind of a pain area. Like, you got to balance things on it, set things on it. But these close, and you essentially have a perfectly smooth top in order to do whatever you need to do. Above Jalen, we've got 2 big old sliding cabinets. And then here is the radio. So this whole trailer has a radio. And it's got speakers here, here, in the back, pretty much everywhere. So you can get jamming on this thing. And it's nice, it's got a USB charging port up here. And then up underneath the table, it does have a 120 volt wall outlet. So if you want to plug anything in by the table. And then the other nice part is all these cushions are specially made for this. So all the curves are cut, but they all Velcro together too. So like this one's Velcro here. And then this will be your one that'll go here for when you set the bed down, and then the other one behind Jalen will sit here. And then on the sides behind them, they have snaps to snap into place. And then a lot of times on like an RV dinette, you'll sit in it and you'll be moving around or getting in and out, getting in and out. And this cushion, the bottom cushion, ends up sliding halfway out, and you got to sit there and keep pushing it back in. Those are Velcroed down as well. So it is nice. Everything stays in place, doesn't move, doesn't fall down. I really like that. And then I forgot, right when we came in, it does have a real nice big drawer up under here for a little more storage. I mean, you can never get enough storage in an RV, but Airstream does a good job to try and give you as much as possible. Because again, up here, we've got 2 more big storage cabinets. And then we have a smoke detector. And then it also has down here a carbon monoxide and propane gas alarm alongside your battery cutoff switch. So when you're winterizing or not using this thing, you can flip it off and it won't drain your batteries, nothing like that. It's got a walking fridge that's pretty good size really for a Bambi. I mean, I can fit my arm all the way to my elbow in there, and I mean, you can get just as much stuff you need in there. And down here is our microwave. And then you got more storage underneath that. And another drawer above it. And I do like these. They all come with them, how they have dividers. If you don't like it, you can take it out. It's not built in, which I think is a great thing because a lot of people love that. A lot of people don't like it. And then you also have another little cubby here. And then your TV remote. You've got a decent sized sink. Not the biggest thing in the world, but it's decent sized. And then up here on this wall, we have our water heater controls. So you can turn it on. You can turn temperature up and down. You can recycle it. And then here is our battery and tank monitors. So our battery's at 13.6. Freshwater tank is empty. Black tank is empty, obviously because it's new. Flip this switch on, turn your water pump on. And then here is your Victron charge controller for the solar panels on the roof and the solar system. So you can flip through all your different screens to see how it's charging. You can float your batteries, whatever you want to see and do there. But one weird thing about this is here's the shower. Here's just another, shower bathroom. Here's another cabinet. But you might come in here and be like, where the heck is the light switch? Because there's no light switch here. There's no light switch here. The light switch for the bathroom is actually back around this corner in the bedroom. So you flip this on. And then ta-da! She's on in there. So if we come on in here, it is pretty decent size. I mean, it's tight. You know, you're in a 16-foot trailer, but it is nice you have the shade here with the window, you know, so if you obviously don't want people to see you, then you can close the shade. But if you're somewhere where no one can see you, it's pretty cool you have the outside view. It's got the toilet paper holder that is waterproof, so that way you don't have to take your toilet paper roll in and out every single time you want to do anything. But for reference, I'm 6 foot, 6'1", somewhere in there, especially with my shoes on. I'm a little taller and I got a hat on. And I do have, I mean, just enough headroom to clear here. So I wouldn't say it's definitely, I'm not cramped, but it's not huge. I mean, it's like a cruise ship shower. They're not very big, but you have your thing in here, so if you're taller, you can sit down and shower, whatever you want to do. And then another cool thing that I think they do is if you look down here, if you want to put your bar of soap or anything down here, what's nice is if any of these get water in them, you know, it'll hold it here, it won't slide around, but it also has a drain built in, so it'll drain straight down into the tub. But a toilet, obviously. And then we have a medicine cabinet in here too, which is got the safety locks on. There we go. So if you've got a medicine cabinet, you can store a little more stuff in here. And then a really nice shower head. These things are super cool. So you get good water pressure out of them. And then there also is another curtain here that goes across this way if you need a little more room for when you shower. You don't want to be banging into the stove. Stepping back out of the shower, we've got a curtain that'll divide the front section and the back section. So if you want a little privacy from front to back, or say you got people up here and you just showered, you can close this curtain, do all your changing back here, and then open the curtain back up and come back up front. But behind that, we've got another cabinet, and then this has a light in here as well, so we can flip that on. And it's got a clothes bar up here, you know, decent amount of storage. It's obviously, I mean, it's a tight Airstream, right? So there's not a ton, but you do have storage everywhere they can put it. And then here's your bed. It is not big by any means, but it can comfortably fit one and a dog maybe. I mean, you could have 2 people, but you'd be pretty snuggled up. And then we also have 2 big storage bins as well, just like the front. And then all of your heat and air conditioning controls are right here on this. So you can set your fan speed and then your temperature right here. And then alongside the bed, we have USB charging ports. And then on this side, we have a wall outlet. And then our TV mount, what's nice about these is they flip out to any angle. So you can bring this pretty much all the way around if you want to, which is nice. So yeah, if we go like this, then you can watch TV from the dinette all the way back here. And then these do lock up into place for when you're traveling. Sorry, they're tight when they're brand new. Once they get worked in a little bit, they're a lot better. But they do click into place, so that way when you're traveling down the road, it doesn't throw you on off. Mm-hmm. But overhead, we've got our heat and air conditioner, and these do have a heat pump in them as well, which is pretty cool. So if you're on electricity, you can run a heat pump. And then up underneath the bed, if we crawl on down here, you've got your furnace exit down here, and then here's your fuse box. And then these are those, these are those cabinets that go all the way through to the back. So they really do try and give you as much storage as possible. And I think that just about covers everything in here. It's got window shades front and back all the way around. These pull down as well. So if you want to be super low key, you can shut everything up and no one will know you're in here. We do have a fantastic style fan up here, push button on and off. But yeah, I think that covers everything in the 2024 Bambi 16 RB. Thanks for watching. Peace out, YouTube.